The days passed, and life in the village returned to its normal rhythm. The feast was held as planned, though Kwame's tale of surviving the storm became the highlight of the celebration. The villagers marveled at his bravery, but Kwame remained humble, attributing his survival to the river's mercy. He did not mention the mysterious figure he had seen, choosing instead to keep that part of the story to himself. Yet, despite the joy and laughter of the feast, Kwame's mind kept drifting back to the river. Each night, he would dream of the storm, the cold embrace of the water, and the strange, beautiful being who had saved him. The dreams were vivid, more real than anything he had ever experienced. And they left him with a deep yearning that he could not explain. As the days turned into weeks, Kwame found himself drawn back to the river more and more often. He would spend hours by the water's edge, staring into its depths, hoping to catch a glimpse of the figure from his dreams. The villagers noticed his frequent visits to the river and began to whisper among themselves, wondering if Kwame had been touched by the spirits. Mirembe, too, was unable to forget the young fisherman. From the moment she had saved him, she found herself constantly thinking about him. She would swim close to the surface, hidden among the reeds and water lilies, watching as he sat by the riverbank. His presence intrigued her, and she longed to know more about him. In her world beneath the waves, Mirembe's life had always been one of solitude. She was surrounded by other creatures of the river, fish, turtles, and the occasional crocodile, but none of them could speak to her the way humans did. The river spirits were her only true companions, but even they were distant, their conversations cryptic and full of warnings. For centuries, Mirembe had accepted her fate, content to live in the beauty and tranquility of the river. But now, with Kwame so close, her heart was stirred by a new emotion. Curiosity. What was it like to live on land, to walk on two legs instead of swimming through the water? What were the stories that Kwame told to the other villagers, and why did he seem so different from the others she had observed? Mirembe's curiosity grew stronger with each passing day. She began to swim closer to the shore, risking being seen just to get a better look at Kwame. She watched him as he repaired his fishing nets, as he spoke with the other villagers, and as he sat quietly by the river, lost in thought. There was a sadness in his eyes that she couldn't quite understand, a longing that mirrored her own. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky was painted in hues of orange and pink, Mirembe made a decision. She would reveal herself to Kwame. The river spirits had always warned her to avoid contact with humans, but Mirembe could no longer resist the pull she felt toward him. She needed to know more, to understand this strange connection between them. As Kwame sat by the river, his thoughts once again on the mysterious figure from the storm, he heard a soft splash behind him. He turned, expecting to see a fish or perhaps a bird taking flight, but what he saw instead took his breath away. Rising from the water, her long hair shimmering in the fading light, was the most beautiful creature he had ever seen. Her eyes were deep and full of secrets, her skin smooth and dark like the river's surface at night. And as she moved closer, Kwame realized with a start that she was not entirely human. Her lower half, from the waist down, was that of a fish, covered in glistening scales that reflected the colors of the sunset. For a moment, Kwame could only stare, his mind struggling to comprehend what he was seeing. The stories of the river spirits, of mermaids and other creatures of the deep, had always been just that, stories. But now, standing before him, was living proof that the legends were true. Mirembe watched as Kwame's eyes widened in amazement. She had expected fear or perhaps anger, but instead, she saw only wonder in his gaze. It gave her the courage to move closer, her heart pounding in her chest. Who are you? Kwame finally managed to ask, his voice barely more than a whisper. I am Mirembe, she replied, her voice as soft and soothing as the river itself. I am the guardian of this river, and I have watched over it for many years. Kwame nodded slowly, still trying to process what he was hearing. Mirembe. You're the one who saved me during the storm, aren't you? Mirembe smiled, a small, shy smile that lit up her face. Yes, I could not let you drown. The river can be dangerous, but it is also full of kindness. Why? Kwame asked, his voice filled with genuine curiosity. Why did you save me? Mirembe hesitated, unsure of how to answer. She didn't fully understand her actions herself, but she knew that there was something special about Kwame, something that had compelled her to break the rules of the river. "Because you are different," she finally said. "I have watched humans for many years, but you are kind and brave. You respect the river, and you do not take more than you need. I wanted to save you." Kwame felt a warmth spread through his chest at her words. He had always loved the river, felt a deep connection to it, but he had never imagined that it might feel the same way about him. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "I owe you my life." Mirembe's smile grew, and for a moment, they simply looked at each other, the world around them fading into the background. In that instant, something passed between them, a silent understanding, a bond that neither of them could explain but both felt deeply. But as the sun dipped lower and the sky darkened, Mirembe knew she could not stay. The river spirits would be angry if they knew she had revealed herself to a human, and she could already feel their eyes on her, watching from the depths. "I must go," she said softly, regret tinging her voice. Kwame's heart sank at her words, but he nodded, understanding that this moment could not last forever. "Will I see you again?" he asked, hoping against hope that she would say yes. Mirembe hesitated, torn between her duty to the river and the growing feelings she had for Kwame. "Perhaps," she said finally. "If the river allows it." With that, she began to sink back into the water, her form becoming one with the river once more. Kwame watched as she disappeared beneath the surface, leaving only ripples in her wake. As he sat there, staring at the spot where she had vanished, Kwame felt a strange mix of emotions, joy at having met such a wondrous being, and sadness at the thought that he might never see her again. But deep down, he knew that this was only the beginning of their story. The river had brought them together, and somehow, he felt that it would do so again. And so, as the night settled over the land, Kwame made a silent vow to return to the river every day, to wait for Mirembe, and to learn more about the mysterious creature who had captured his heart. Story to be continued. Please make sure to like, subscribe and follow my page. Thanks for watching.